Guys, welcome back to another episode of 5 Things That We Learned. My name is Stephen and you're in Esteemed company. Today we're going to look at Manchester City's 2-0 victory last night over Peterborough in the last 16 of the FA Cup. We're in the quarterfinals. We've been joined there by Chelsea and Liverpool for what it's worth, which will be interesting. But we are into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup and I'm quite excited by that. The game wasn't a classic last night. It wasn't. I'm not going to sit here and tell you something that it wasn't. Go watch my match reaction for that if you want to. But it was still an interesting tie nonetheless. You can find interesting nuggets of information even from the most boring of messes sometimes. And I got that last night personally. Of course, if you are new to this channel and you enjoy Manchester City content from a reasonable, logical, passionate Manchester City fan, please do hit that subscribe button. I would love to get to 70k by summertime or something like that. So please do help me on that journey along the way. And give this video a like as well if you are enjoying this kind of content as well. I also want to say please go and download OneFootball right now. See it alongside me right here? It's a flashy, beautiful little app with all the Manchester City information. And it's not just that. If you want to stay up to scratch from the news across the world of football, and I use it for that very reason. I'm so far into the Manchester City world that scrolling OneFootball when I'm just sat there, usually on the loo if I'm being honest, or on the bus or whatever, helps me keep up to date with all the news from across the world of football. So download it right now, scan that QR code next to my face, it'll download it straight on your phone, or click the link in the description. Help support my channel as well, which would be massively appreciated. Do it. What are you waiting for? So, last night, 2-0, it was an alright game, you know, as I said earlier, go watch my match reaction for the full thoughts there, but I still found some interesting moments for it, I really did, and I'm going to start initially with this little thing that I've called Free Foden, and I don't mean free as in like, Guardiola, what you doing, let him loose, but last night he was free to be the Foden that we all know and love, and it was really exciting, really interesting to see Phil Foden facing the goal. Now Foden obviously for the last few months has been basically a sacrificial lamb for Manchester City. He's been the false 9 forward and he's been effective, don't get me wrong, and I think he's actually been better than some people give him credit for, but he hasn't really been the star that he often is in Manchester City, especially last season when he was just unplayable at times. And this season, he's taken one for the team. And the reason he's taken one for the team is because it does go against his instincts and what makes him so exciting. So he's definitely had to adapt a little bit to a different role. He doesn't get as much time on the ball as he would like, but he's still been really effective, actually. I would say he's been useful with the press. He's definitely been a lot more composed in front of goal than a lot of other midfielders would be. Honestly, really effective there. Like, some of his goals, I think there's one against Sporting where he took an extra touch and he sat to keep it down. There's one against Everton, of course, as well, where he had, like, you know, some people would have thrashed at that. Foden didn't. I know they're very simple finishes, but they're still nice finishes. So he's been useful, and 18 goals or assists this season shows that, you know, those contributions are decent. You'll get over 20, probably get close to 25 goal or assist contributions this season. That's pretty decent. The guy is good in front of goal. But the reason we all loved Foden last night was because of how special he looked. Now, Foden, like anyone, is absolutely in fraud of their own confidence, basically. You are a victim to your own confidence or lack of. And Foden last night showed why I'm personally not worried about Manchester City right now in a small microcosm of brilliance over the course of 5 to 10 minutes. City were already winning at this point, but there was a bit basically where Foden played a delightful kind of like no-look reverse pass to Gabriel Jesus, which led to a decent effort for the Brazilian striker. It was a great pass, and you could visibly see the confidence and his chest puffing out a little bit as Phil Foden realised, I'm pretty good here, you know. I know I am, but I've not had this much time on the ball for an awful long time, and I realised just how good I am. And because of that, moments later, he did this beautiful little kind of like Zidane turn pirouette thingy. Which one is it, Zidane turn? I don't know. I've already did it. It is a Zidane turn, isn't it? He did that little spin thing and everyone purred and everyone was like, oh, wonderful stuff. And at this point, his confidence was absolutely rocketing. And it led, of course, the epitome of the night for him, his pièce de résistance, was, excuse my French, was this fantastic, like, 40-yard diagonal ball onto a sixpence, onto Jack Grealish's foot, which obviously was a lovely touch as well and a lovely finish. We'll get onto Grealish later on in this video, perhaps. But it was a beautiful pass. And it was the only pass that... it was only a pass that he would make after what just happened, if that makes sense. He wouldn't make that before the other things. That only came about because his confidence increased, because he played a lovely pass to set up Jesus and did that lovely bit of a pirouette. Players get confidence-boosting moments when they feel like they've earned it, if that makes sense. Like, they all suddenly remember how good they are. And Foden, in that moment, started to revel in just how good he is as a footballer. Next season, when we've got a striker, and I'm confident we will have a striker, hopefully it'll be Haaland, it could be just Julian Alvarez or something like that. Either way, next season, Foden will be facing the goal an awful lot more, be in midfield where he played yesterday, which I really enjoyed, or as a winger. Either way, he'll have a lot more time to sit and do things. And I cannot wait to a free Foden is the normality, when he's showing just how good he can be, because really the sky is the limit. He's got the whole world at his feet, this kid. He's a fantastic player. As is Riyad Mahrez. I put at the bottom here, Mahrez is it. And right now, Mahrez is it. I don't think he was fantastic last night or anything like that. I'm not saying he tore Peterborough a new one. He scored a lovely goal, don't get me wrong. But when you're hot, you're hot. And right now, Mahrez is on fire. 26 goal contributions this season, which is fantastic. And he's now broken his personal record for most goals in a season. 19 goals he's got now for the Premier League champions across 32 games with 7 assists. That's a fantastic return. And it averages out a goal or assist every 108 minutes. You can't ignore those stats. And Mahrez, even if he's not at his very best in the game like he wasn't last night, he wasn't bad, don't get me wrong, but he was still not his highest peak. He still finds a way to be really effective, and his goal was just peak Mahrez. Lovely drop of the shoulder, put it in the bottom corner from that very common Mahrez inverted right position. And Mahrez right now is finding the net at such a regular fashion. He's quite simply our most consistent creator. 26 goals or assists, that's higher than everyone else. Phil Foden second with 18, Sterling with 17. It's a really impressive tally. And personally, I didn't really buy into this whole thing about, oh no, he's not been in the team, Pep's dropped him, oh, what's he doing? It's been 2 games. 2 games. I know we wanted him to play. I want him to play, don't get me wrong. But I won't really panic or moan at Pep when Pep doesn't play a player for 2 games, because we've got the squad that we've got. We've got a world-class squad, and every now and then a player does have to sit out on the sidelines. It's just the way of the world. It's just the way of Manchester City, and no player deserves to play every single game. They don't. Some people may argue that they do, and maybe some players do play more than others, which I don't always agree with as well. But Mahrez has played enough football for me to not worry about, is what I'm getting at. To me, it was always a case of that maybe Mahrez looked a bit tired. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't doing quite well in training. Any possible reason could be the reason why Mahrez hasn't played. All I know is that he hasn't been dropped. He was just merely rotated with someone else for a period of time, and I'm almost certain come the United game, he'll be back in the team. Don't worry about it. Mahrez is brilliant. Guardiola knows Mahrez is brilliant. And I think Grealish is brilliant. So the bottom it says Grealish promise, because I think there was Grealish promise. I tweeted the other day, did anyone think that we've been missing Grealish? And what I meant by that was Grealish has an element of composure and conviction when he's on the ball. He's so hard to get the ball off, and Peterborough found that last night as well. But it makes him particularly useful in the transition. Manchester City, particularly against Everton and Spurs, and to be honest, over this time period when Grealish has been out, could be a coincidence, but it definitely happened. City have been relatively chaotic and not quite as controlled. You think of the City at the best this season, be it against like Chelsea or whatever, or something like that, or United, and then the reverse fixture. City were just pure control and organisation, and they're ruthless and meticulous. And City haven't been that recently. Grealish, even though he hasn't quite got the goals and assists that he probably wants this season, is very good at that. He's very good at making sure City control the rhythm of a game, the flow and the momentum of it, simply because he's just so hard to get the ball off. You either wins a free kick or draws about 3 players and keeps the ball and plays a lovely little pass with someone. And of course, as well, there's signs of a growing partnership with Phil Foden. They love each other, those two. I love the idea that those two can be a little bit closer together or play passes to each other like that. It's great. But Grealish, there's been an awful lot of criticism from some quarters in Manchester City fans, and I don't really get it. I read his quotes last night after the game, and he talked a lot how he's been talking to Guardiola loads, trying to work out how he can improve his game and how he can better himself. And these to me aren't the words of a guy who doesn't take his football seriously. He clearly does. He clearly wants to improve. He said that Guardiola was like, don't worry, it's not just about goals and assists, but he wants more. He really wants more, and he wants to prove the doubters wrong. We know he sits and scrolls Twitter. He said last night that he sat and scrolled Twitter before the game with Phil Foden and they're watching Messi compilations. So he probably does see that criticism. He probably is overtly aware of it. And he probably does get to him every now and then. But he clearly wants to succeed at Manchester City, and he has that focus. I've got no doubt he will do. Of course, he's been out for a drink here and there. But that doesn't mean he doesn't care about his profession. He absolutely does, and I'm sure he works incredibly hard. Give him a little bit of time. Grealish is a cracking player, and of course his goal last night. His goal, it was the kind of thing that only special players can score. And I'm not saying he's played specially, like in a special sense this season, but you have to have a level of technique and brilliance to even do what he did. That touch, the way he took it to his left, that was intentional. It reminded me of Roberto Baggio an awful long time ago. It was that level of brilliant. A fantastic goal from a fantastic player. Give him time. The fourth thing is that the form issues are there. Look, I'm not going to press the alarm, ring the alarm or press the panic button yet. I'm not going to do that. Personally, I'm not worrying. The form isn't great, and I can admit that. But, if you imagine this is happy and this is panicking, like it has to fill up to get to that point for me. And right now, it's gone up a little bit, but I'm not there. I don't go, oh my God, three games out of form, panic. I don't do that, mainly because I understand that in football, it's normal every now and then to not play perfectly. It's normal to have those spells where you don't seem to be at your very best. It's normal to have those days as an individual or as an entity, a business, a team, where things don't quite go well for you. And you have a month or two, maybe, hopefully less than that, maybe just a couple of weeks or a month or whatever, where things aren't fluid, they aren't beautiful. So you have to kind of grind them out a little bit. And this is where City are right now. I will panic if things don't go our way fully in the next 2 or 3 games. Like it becomes a trend. Right now, it's just an incident of poor form. And it can happen for many reasons as well. This is why I'm not worrying. I don't see any signs of dissent. I don't see any signs of frustration. I don't think Guardiola's doing anything majorly wrong. Maybe he's played a few plays out of position a couple of times, but I'm not concerned about that yet. I'm sure it'll correct itself in time. And also, I'm not worried because I've seen this so many times. You've seen it before, and you definitely have. You may forget because football moves on so quickly, but City do lose form every now and then, just like that. Every team does. The point is, as long as you keep winning, you don't remember. And City did it in title runnings before, and they'll do it again in the future. So right now, even though it's definitely there, City do look a little bit like a team that's trying to force it. They don't look unhappy, but they look a little bit like a team that's probably lost a little bit of confidence. It's probably just the drag of it all. It's an absolute drag, isn't it, right now? It's draining. It's mentally tiring. The fatigue will be setting in. But you got to find a way through it. And the players will do. And most certainly will do. And then something someday will go right, like they did for Foden last night, where you find a bit of confidence. And all of a sudden, the team will believe again. And they'll start playing the best football. All it takes is a little bit of energy. The testosterone pumps in again. And all of a sudden, you're scoring goals and you're beating teams. It could be that United this weekend is the exact kind of refocus that we need to find that confidence again. Either way, I'm not panicking. The form issues are there. I don't know what the reason is. I can't pretend to be on the inner circle of Manchester City, but I'm not panicking yet, and I don't think you should either. And finally, it's just a small one, this, but we are due an FA Cup. I want an FA Cup, man. We've only won it like twice since post-takeover, and it doesn't feel enough given all the trophies that we've won. Of course, we won it in 2011, which was great when we the noisy neighbours awoke, and we put United to the sword and then Stoke in the final. And of course, during the formidable season as well, 2018-19. But I want it more, man. We've only been in one other final in that time period. We don't talk about the game in 2003. We don't talk about it. But we've not won it or got into the final enough. I want it this season. And of course it is because they've got Carabao Cup envy, because Liverpool, of course, won that. Our competition. Get your dirty hands off it, man. We'll come back to it one day. But I do want the FA Cup, and I think it's because we're due it. And also because I kind of love the idea of doing a double. Who knows, maybe even a treble. I don't know. But I like the idea of doing a domestic double, because the double is it's an impressive haul, I'll be happy just to win the Premier League, don't get me wrong. I will never complain for just winning the Premier League. I want the Champions League, I want the FA Cup, but I'll never complain from just winning the big local, big domestic trophy. But having said that, there's something sweeter about an FA Cup and Premier League double. Of course, the treble is the icing on the cake. But, I really want it this season. And I think the players probably want it too. It's going to be hard given the draw. Chelsea, Liverpool still in it, of course. And who knows who else will be in it. Spurs out last night. Hilarious. But we'll have to see. Guys, anyway, they are 5 things that I took from the game. Do let me know down in the comments what you personally took from it. Don't forget to give this video a like if you don't mind. If you got this far, big up you guys. And also subscribe to the channel if you are new to it. Thank you so much for everyone who watches these videos. Big love to all the Patreons and Scott Denham, my Patreon producer. Download OneFootball, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video in a bit.